Hello once again everybody. Now we'll be discussing about chapter 3 of your syllabus, that is interpretation of topographical maps. In the first chapter we have discussed about what are the basic components of the maps, but this topographical map is totally different than the normal maps what you see in atlases or books, because as I discussed earlier, it's a transformation of all the features, means whichever feature which is there on surface of the earth, the representation should be there on the topographical map. So one can define topographical map as systematic miniature representation of the 3D surface of the earth into 2D surface. Systematic, there is a scheme which is involved in. Miniature, it is in miniature form, so it's a systematic miniature representation. Now it has been done with the help of trigonometry survey earlier. Nowadays sophisticated means and instruments are available for updation. So topographical map has a total different category than the other type of maps. That's what I want to highlight. Let's go ahead. Definition of map. A topographical map is characterized by large scale detail and quantitative representation of relief and other features. These maps depict in detail about relief, that is mountains, valleys, slope, plateau and plains. Hydrography, that is water bodies in form of lakes, rivers, streams, swamps, rapids, falls, coastal flats, etc. Vegetation, wooded or clear areas, orchards. Transportation, that is roads, railways, bridges, airport, seaport and anchorage. Cultural features like settlements, power transmission lines, etc. Then boundaries, different type of boundaries, administrative boundaries, that is international, national, state, district and taluka. Typonomy, we'll discuss in all in details when we'll come to typonomy. Means I was referring to the lettering part, where I have said that different type of letters which are used for depicting different information. So that we will see, that is place names, water body names, landform names and boundary names. So this is called definition of map and its utility. Now just like all Indians are having now Aadhaar card, you are also having an Aadhaar card, I am also having an Aadhaar card, and each Aadhaar card has its called unique number. Means whatever Aadhaar card number I have, it is unique all over India. Similarly, topographical maps are also numbered in a very systematic way, and each of this map have a unique number. In the sense, when we go to any part of India and to go to any geography department or survey department and ask for their collection, for example I want map of Mumbai, so the scale, the number of the topographical map is 47A by 16. That is a number which is there, which is covering part of Mumbai, and the southern part of Mumbai is covered by 47B by 3. You must be wondering, sir, is it necessary for us to by heart this system? No, not at all. You are not supposed to by heart any of the systems, because catalog is available. The question comes then, why we should learn these systems? From our point of view, you must know that whichever maps which are going to use, that is mainly of 1:50,000 scale, how the number is derived. Before we go ahead about the classification, I would like to mention there are two systems of numbering. One which we are using as on today, that is metric system, and which was used earlier, that was called as British system. And you have corresponding maps in some of the systems. In some systems you have only metric maps, in some we have only British maps. We will see in detail, don't worry about it. So what we can say is the numbers are the numbering system of the topographical map is India and adjacent countries. We have a diagram in the next slide. So first listen to this. India and adjacent countries are divided into grid from north to south and from west to east, and they are numbered. I am repeating again. India and adjacent countries are given grid reference, and it is from north to south and from west to east, and they are numbered. However, the grids which are having water bodies, it means there is no land masses, they are excluded from this numbering system. For example, we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands. There you will find that even a small portion of the island, if it is there, it is numbered. But wherever you are having an entire sheet or an entire grid is covered by water bodies, that is not inland water bodies, this is sea and ocean, they have not been numbered, and the coverage is 4 degree by 4 degree. Now even this you should not by heart, you just know that they are numbered from north to south and from west to east. We will see in the diagram next. Now each of these 4 degree by 4 degree is further subdivided into 16 parts, and it ranges from A to P. Like for example, I have given here, see 63A, B, C, etc. It continues up to P, but you will not get any map which is having 63Q. So MCQ can come that 63Q, the map covers 1 degree by 1 degree, so forth and so on. So the answer, there is no such type of map. In British system, it is called as quarter inch map because of the fact that it covers 4 miles by 1 inch. Before I go ahead, I'll give you the basic difference between the metric system and British system. Is in British system, it is always inch to miles, and in metric system, it is always centimeter to kilometers. So MCQ can come, we will confuse you in these two, and I will ask you the correct answer. So again, I am just telling you again, in metric system, which you are more worried about, it is centimeter and kilometer. Yesterday we have discussed about 1:50,000. That is 1 centimeter on the map covering 50,000 centimeters. Now, this 1 degree by 1 degree is also called as degree sheet, where in case of metric system, the RF is 1:250,000. It means 1 centimeter on the map covers 250,000 centimeters on the ground. Means 1 centimeter represents, see if you divide this by 1 lakh, it is 1 centimeter covers 2.5 kilometers. See the scale. Okay. Now each of these 1 degree by 1 degree is further divided into 4 categories, which we call as half inch map, where 1 inch is equal to 1 mile, 1 inch is equal to 2 miles. Now again, this part 63A is further subdivided into 16 parts. Like this 63B is further subdivided into 16 equal parts, where in metric system we have 1:50,000 scale, in which we are going to study, and in British system we have 1 inch map. It means 1 inch is equal to 1 mile. So the number comes is, now see here 62, then it is divided into 6 parts, 16 equal parts, it is A, and the 63A is further subdivided into 16 equal parts, that is from 1 to 16. You will not get any map which is more than 16. That is called 1:50,000 or 1 inch map. Now in British system we have this map, that is quarter inch, half inch and 1 inch. there are no maps further for British system. In metric system, there is further classification that this 50,000 map is divided either into 4 parts, just like we cut apple depending upon number of persons. So I divide this map into 4 parts, or I divide the map into 6 parts, where the representative fraction will be 1:25,000. These seems to be difficult for you to understand, but don't worry, I will go to next, and when we'll have interactive session we will clear. So now let us see the diagram I was referring to. Now let us not much worry about the British system now. Let us worry about the metric system. And again, I have given the same reference what I was discussing earlier in the earlier slide. So see, India and adjacent countries are graded from north to south and from west to east. So you will see number 41, 40, 41. There is no number here, over here. Then 42 is here, that is for Lakshadweep. 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, something like that. Then again 52, something like that. Now this grid is readily available, the catalog is available, you don't have to worry. So the RF of this is 1:250,000. Now this entire 47 is further subdivided into 16 parts. See, I have written here 53, that can be somewhere here, but it doesn't make much difference whether it is 53, 57 or 47. This is try to understand about this is for 1:250,000. This scale is divided from A to P, so you will not get anything about beyond P. So again I am repeating, this 47 is further subdivided into 16 equal parts, where the scale is 1:250,000. Now each of these 47A, okay, is further subdivided into 16 equal parts. So these are the maps which we are studying. Now this A is further subdivided into 16 equal parts, where the scale of the map is 1:50,000. Okay. Now this 53A by 1 is further subdivided into 4 parts or into 6 parts, where the RF will be 25,000. But let us not much worry about, let us concentrate on this. So all the topographical maps which we are going to study for exercises or just now will have this scale. It means variable scale will be 2 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer. Now here students, what you are supposed to remember is, in MCQs will ask that suppose which is a correct RF representative fraction for 47A, will give you 4 options. Okay, 1:250,000, 1:50,000, 1:25,000, 1:1 million, of which you have to select 1:250,000. For this is important, and to understand how these are numbered. Let's go ahead. Same thing I have given in a table format. So see, it's very clear now. 47 first number, coverage is 4 degree by 4 degree. 47A, coverage is 1 degree by 1 degree. Metric system 250,000. British system 1 inch to 4 miles, which is 1 inch to 4 miles means quarter of an inch is equal to 1 mile. That's why we call it as quarter inch map. Then there is no metric system here. There is half inch map which is in metric system, and again 47A by 15, 1:50,000, which we are dealing with. Again corresponding map is 1 inch to 1 mile, and this map 50,000 is further subdivided into 2 categories, either 4 divisions or 6 divisions. So they are numbered in this way. So this is the only thing which you have to keep in mind. Now in maps we have different type of relief representations and landform representations. This identification of landform is very, very important. Now you will ask me, sir, is there any method by which we can by heart these landforms? No, there is no method as such. But as we are studying geography for number of years, we are very well versed and we have seen this map frequently, so that it becomes easier for us as compared to you people to identify the landforms, because landforms is more important, because depending upon landforms you have settlements, you have rivers, you have roads and everything. So landform physical aspect, somebody say ki economic aspect, social aspect is more important than physical. I would say if there is a physical setup, then you have economy, then you have cultural factors, then you have transportation. That's why to identify the physical factors, there are different methods by which we can do. Earlier, way back 50 years, 60 years before, we had hachures, which are traditionally used to represent the relief, where short broken lines are drawn along the slope, and greater the slope, closer the hachures, and the orientation of the slope is also known in this method. But this method now it has been discontinued by Survey of India. Incidentally, you will ask me, sir, what about these maps? Who produces these maps? All topographical maps of India on different scales are produced by Survey of India, where it has a headquarter in Dehradun. Keep in mind, there may be a question MCQ that the headquarter of the Survey of India is in Dehradun, then Delhi, something like that. So keep in mind. So hachures have been discontinued. Contours is the most effective and accurate method of representation. See, contour is an imaginary line which joins the places of equal height above mean sea level, which we call that also MSL, mean sea level, which is 0. Along the coast we have mean sea level, and it increases depending upon the height. It helps in identifying the slope of the landform and the type of the landform. Now what you are supposed to keep in mind, my dear, first of all, what do you mean by contour? Again I am repeating, contour is a line which joins places of equal height. Okay, it means they will not meet each other, they will be parallel. See, because if it is 20 meters, 40 meters, 45 meters, 60 meters, these lines will never merge into each other. So they are running parallel lines. So depending upon the spacing of the contours, see, if the contours are very close by to each other, then the slope is steeper, and contours are very sparse from each other. We will see those examples, don't worry about it, but keep in mind, contours are very sparse from each other, then the slope will be gentle. So what you have to keep in mind about this slide is, contour is the most effective and accurate method of representation. It's a line which joins the places of equal height, and depending upon the spacing of the contours, the slope is determined. So slope can be identified as steep slope, gentle slopes, concave slopes and convex slopes. And you must have studied in your FYPA, that is the last unit, 4th unit or 5th unit, about the features made by rivers. All these, the features made by underground water, glaciers, something like that. There you had about rivers, about rapids, waterfalls, V-shaped valley, U-shaped valley, then Oxbow Lake. See, many things you must have studied earlier, and now it's a brush up of our own memory. So let's go ahead. On the basis of the alignment of the contours, one can identify about different features I was discussing about just now, that it is a conical hill, plateau, V-shaped valley, U-shaped valley, gorge, spur, cliff, waterfall and rapids. Now, are we going to ask anything in examination about these, identify these features? No. What we will ask you is, what is the contour interval? What is the highest point of the map which is given? Something like that. Or identify the areas which are having steep slopes. Grid reference. You know, for figure for coordinate grid reference, we'll ask you in which grid you have steep slopes. So you have to just identify that grid. Okay. So nothing much. We are not going to draw cross section and something like that, but I will explain you how to draw cross sections in due course of time. Now, form lines are the dashed lines of the map which are never labeled and given as a general idea of the relief. Spot heights, they are applied to mark to the point of elevation and exact point of the map with elevation recorded. You must have seen traveling from Kalyan to Badlapur, you can see the peaks, or you go to Nashik, Pune, you can see the peak of those mountains. So when we say the contour, which is the line which joins places of equal height, what about those points? Those points are marked in case of spot height. The name itself suggests it's a spot height. So it's an accurate height and it is not in multiple of something. Now I will tell you, in case of 50,000 map, the contour interval, see it differs from scale to scale, but as we are not worried about other type of maps, please keep in mind this thing very important is that in case of 1:50,000 map, the contour interval is always 20 meters. It means, in simple words, what you will get? You will get a contour of 20 meters, 40 meters, 60 meters, 80 meters, 100 meters. So in multiple of 20 you will get. You will not get contour of 110, 130, 170, 190. That you keep in mind. So it's a contour interval of 20. Where we are starting? It is starting from mean sea level, that is 0. So from 0 you will, as the height increases, it can be 400 meter. And listen, in case of these metric system topographical maps, the heights are always in meters. Another MCQ. Height of the topographical map is always in, we will ask, meters, centimeters, kilometers, and you may say miles or inches, something like that. So always they are in meters, keep in mind. So let's go ahead. All these things features, no, I am going to explain you with the diagram, so don't worry about it. Now triangulated points, these are exact, just like spot heights, we have triangulated points which are measured accurately and it is marked. So what the mean map, in what we do, in case of spot height we give a dot and write the value. In triangulation we make a triangle and then we write a value. That's the only difference. Benchmarks which are having for global positioning system, we write BM 6.8, that is 6.8 meters. This is the additional feature as compared to the contours. Hypsometric tint, which was given earlier for the standard color scheme used for the purpose. Relief map or physical map is the best example. Hypsometric tint, in a sense, you must have studied relief map of Atlases. It gives relief of Western India, relief of Maharashtra, relief of Karnataka. They use different colors but standardized colors. So as the height increases, the color scheme, it will become more darker. It will become hot colors, cool colors, blue, yellow are the cool colors. So it will start with light green, dark green, or start with light blue, then light green, dark green, then orange, then brown and dark brown, something like that. You must have seen these maps. Otherwise you can open the atlas after you hear this and see these differences. So color scheme is used in topographical map. A standardized color scheme is used in topographical maps, taking into consideration a variety of physical and cultural features, and it's a unique scheme in topographical map at different scales. My dear friends, as India has a rich variety, cultural variety and physical variety, then we have in Himalaya, we have snow-clad mountains. In the southern part of India, we have rivers and lake systems. In the western India, we have Thar desert. In the Konkan, we have huge Sahyadris. In the eastern part, we have dense forest for our northeastern states. Along the eastern coastline, we have estuaries. So, taking into consideration all this variety in the physical setup of India, a standardized sign and symbol scheme is derived for all the topographical maps. Otherwise, it will be very difficult, my dear friends. You start keep on using different type of colors for each topographical map scheme. For example, each topographical 50,000, 25,000, some sets of topographical maps. It will be difficult, and these colors are identical colors. We will come later on. Let's go ahead. Contours. I was discussing about. Contours are generally drawn in brown color. However, in case of permanent ice capped mountains, it is shown in blue. Another MCQ for you. They are drawn in brown in color. All the discussions we will see in the diagrams. Don't worry about it. Now, when I said it is in a multiple of, it's a ratio of 20-meter contour, CI. I said, see here, it's called as CI. Contour interval is 20 meters. So from 0 we'll get 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100. Now how are we keep going to identify or count each and every contour? It will be very difficult. So at the multiple of 100, you see this value 100, we give a dark contour as compared to, as I stated earlier, it is in brown color, but in brown also a one index contour in the multiple of 100, it is given in dark color and it is numbered. All index contours are numbered, otherwise you will not understand. So you will get index contour of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and as you go up you will get more numbers. That is logical. So it is easy for us to identify this index contour. Okay, we will see these index contours when we will see the topographical maps. Now, so another value is, in case of topographical map, sometimes it is written as 4R, 5R, something like that. And as I have stated earlier, that all these values are in meters. So 4R. Now, these are relative heights, because when we have, for example, I give two examples. One which is near the river, if the figure is 4R, then the depth of the river is 4 meters. The bed of the river from where we are standing, where it is given is 4R, means it is a depth of the river bed which is 4 meters. Now if we have such similar figure near the dune, sand dunes of Rajasthan, which is called as 5R, then the height of the dune is 5 meters. Another MCQ for you. So whenever you have a R value, it's a relative value and which is mentioned on the topographical maps, and depending upon the situation, either it will be depth or height. Now let's go about different type of slopes. I was referring to the spacing of the contours. See here, the spacing of the contour is almost same. It's not, there is no much variation. So whenever you have contours which are close to each other, then the slope is steep. So in this case, the slope is gentle. Now normally these are taken from NCERT, but it doesn't make much difference. Now this is how it will look like. So the degree or the angle of the slope feature is very low, the slope will be gentle, and contour representing this type of slopes are far from each other. See, they are far from each other. So this look like a slope, steep slope. You see now, contours are very close spaced to each other. Now these numbers are not of a much importance. This can be, if you start with 100. If there is 400 here, then it can be 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, depending upon the region of which you are studying the topographical map. So we don't much have to worry about these numbers, but we have to worry about the alignment of the contour. Here we will see contours are very close to each other. That's why you will find these slopes are steeper slopes, and then slope becomes slightly gentler here, which look like in the snow cloud mountains of Himalaya. Let's go ahead. Concave and convex slopes. People get very confused always in case of concave and convex slopes. You will find that in case of concave slopes, okay, contours at the higher elevations are close to each other. You see here, 1, 2, 3 and 4, they are close to, as compared to these contours which are away from each other. So contours at higher elevation, if they are close to each other, it forms, another MCQ, forms concave slope. You can see this slope, how it look like. This is concave slope. In reverse, the contours at lower levels, you can see these are the heights. You can see the heights, it is 800, 700, 600, 500. There we have contours which are close to each other. It is a reverse situation. 700, 600, 500, 400 are very sparse or away from each other, and as the as the value of the contour decreases or the height of the contour decreases, they are very close to each other, that is 300, 200 and 100, and see the slope, this is concave slope. Now let's try to understand some more features. Conical hill. You can see these mountains when you travel. Conical hill is nothing but a hill which is having a peak and it is almost flat on both the sides, equal. So you will see now that the spacing between the contours, see this is conical, this is all circular items which are there, and the slope are very gentle slopes. It's a peak, and again on both second side it is gentler, which so that it look like this. Plateau, what happens is there's a flat top first of all on the top, and contours on both the sides of the edges are comparatively close to each other, forming a steeper slope. Especially we'll say these last three contours, four contours, 1 2 3 4 on this side and 1 2 3 4 on this side. So this is a way we identify the features. Like there is nothing which is given in the topographical map, these figures are not given, only the contours will be given, and on the basis of that we identify the features, which is called as plateau. Let's move next. V-shaped valley, U-shaped valley, you must have studied these in case of river work. So this is the initial part of the river work, where you will find that these contours are in this forms a V-shaped valley, which is in the initial stage of the river, where it starts, it originates. So you can see the interlocking spurs over here, and the river must be flowing in this direction. That's why these are V-shaped valley. On the contrary, when river starts changing its course from upper course to middle course, you have U-shaped valley, where there is a lot amount of erosion. You can see this U-shaped valley, which is very clear, and it look like in these contours. So the important aspect of this is identification of these features, or it is on the basis of the contours. Let's move ahead. Gorge, rapids and gorge, which are having a waterfall, which is having the characteristics of these gorges. You have steep slopes on both the sides, and you have a river which is flowing, and it's a narrow patch. Similarly, you have a spur which is only one side, which look like this. This is a spur head. So the advantage of adding these photographs and taking from NCERT, that you can visualize how it look like. Otherwise, if I go on you only this contour model and ask you this is spur, you say, sir, this is not at all clear. But these photographs help you a lot in understanding. Let's go ahead. Cliff. This is a cliff. Whenever you find in case of even Sahyadri after Lonavala, on the left side you can see these cliffs. Now, I stated earlier that contours never merge to each other, isn't it? But they have almost merged to this point. So whenever we are merging the contours, it means there is a steep slope, extreme steep slope, and it is just like a straight platform. It's a very steep or almost perpendicular flat to the landform on the map, and cliff may be identified by the way the contours run very close to one another. See, sometimes you will find they merge into each other. When we will see the topographical map, I will show you. Then waterfalls and rapids. Again, contours have merged over here because there is a fall, and it's flowing like this, which is very characterized and very clearly depicted in this photograph. Let's move ahead. Now comes identification of the features. I have done this for you people. Now let's try to understand different type of landforms. Okay, this is a knoll. It's a small hill where also remember that the height is mentioned. Interestingly, see, this height is 301, which is more than 300. That's why you will find spot heights and triangulated heights are important. There is a gap between two mountainous range. Then this is the ridge which runs parallel to each other. See, this is another ridge and this is another ridge. Now this is a dry tank. How it can be identified dry tank? It is given the boundaries, but there is no water over here. We'll come for color schemes later. Then this is a pass. There is a difference between gap and a pass. Pass, on one side you have lower mountains, on other side you have higher mountains. This is sand dunes, how it look like. And these are the river features. This is the main river, and you have riverines which we called as gully erosion. Interestingly, see, it is written somewhere open scrub means type of vegetation which is given. Interestingly, see these contours, they are marked brown in color and they are marked 220. Then another contour 220. This is a multiple of 220. And see this index contour. So this is 220, 240, 260, 280. This is the 300 index contour. You can see this is much more darker as compared to this. That's why this is called as index contour. See this again I am showing you. This is 300. Now this is index contour, and which is most important. Let's go ahead. Similar features on the basis of the river island, and which are very clear. See, in this topographical map, no, these index contours are very clear. See, this is one index contour, this is one index contour, this is one index contour, this is one index. So there is no need for me to count in between the contours. I can say this is 400, this is 500. Now this is 520, 540. Now this is spot height, that is 542, which is an odd number. This is not even number. Here now there is a spot height 444. Here there is a spot height 172. Now I was referring to R value. See here 13 R. It means bed of this river from this point is 13 meters deep. Secondly, here I was referring to contours are very close to each other. So this is the steep slope. Contours which are sparse from each other, which are, for example, here for example, they are sparse from each other. So we have a gentle slope. Here hillocks already we have seen. This is the island in the river, which is very clear. Now what is this? This is a point of confluence. So river comes from this direction. Is it so? How it is possible, sir? You will ask me the question. The clue is, whenever we have river, there is a arrow which is marked. You can see those arrow here. This is the arrow which is marked, and arrow is always marked in the direction of the river. So what is happening here is, there is a direction in which it is given. So river is flowing this way. Now which this river is coming? This river, again you can see this arrow. So this river is flowing this way. It means one river is coming this way, another river is coming this way. So you have a confluence of two rivers. So these are the interesting part. Once see theory part, it's okay. We keep on doing and we keep on asking something like that. We can be more mesmerizing. This happens, this happens, this happens. But if you see the actual maps, it becomes really, really interesting. Now, this is one more map I was referring to. I told you cliffs. You see here, all the contours are merged together. Here, all the contours are merged together. Here, all the contours are merged together. Means this is a very steep sloping area. This is we called as cliffs. Again, there is a steep slope. Again, there is a spur. There is a pass. There is a valley. So these are the things. There is a conical hill which we have seen. Now this is the plateau, for example. So this is the map of Mount Abu. You must have gone to Abu. You must have enjoyed your vacation. Now other than these physical parts, what is interesting to note is different type of letterings. See, this lettering is different. This lettering is different. This lettering is different. Telephone and telephone lines which is given. Then there is Renuka Mata Mandir, for example, and known for Jain temples. There it is there. Now what is important here? This is Nakki Lake. You must have also done some boating in Abu, and these are other water features. Now see, importantly, you can see these black lines. They are rivers, okay, and you can see this blue. Is there any difference? You can see this blue. You can see these blue line and these black lines. Remember, all the water bodies are marked in blue, which are having water throughout the year. It's a permanent water bodies. And these streams, what we have, they will have a water, but they will have water in the rainy season. Which rainy season depends upon which part of India you are. Now in case of Abu or Rajasthan, they get somewhere around November, which is the withdrawal of the monsoon. So it is very important. So once you see these type of maps, now I was talking about different type of roads. Okay, so roads can be a path in the jungle. I'll just check whether I have in this map. No, but these are the roads which are connecting. Okay, these are shown in red in color. We will come for color schemes later, but first see the variety of. Now what these numbers are given, these are the popular landmarks of Abu. Being a city, a small city of Rajasthan, a very popular hill destination or tourist destination, this is given and an index is given at the end of the map. Let's go ahead. These are some of the features what I was discussing about conical hill ridge gap with a pass, how it look like. So you can go through it, there is no issue, there is no much complications. Now I was talking about the use of colors. These are all conventional colors, my dear friends. There is no change in this type of colors. You see any topographical map, these colors will be specifically used for the specific types. So let's understand that black, it is the cultural or man-made features, spot elevations, power lines, embankments, non-perennial streams. Non-perennial means, my dear friends, the streams which are not having water throughout the year. It can be seasonal water or anything which is seasonal. It can be wells also. Well can be seasonal. You must be having going to your native villages, and sometimes you find if you go in May vacation, you find that you have to fetch the water from the well which has water table has gone very down. So wherever you are having some wells which are dried up or some canal which are dried up in case in summer, so such things are marked black in color. Now this can be MCQs also. Red, all roads and settlements are marked in red. Green, all type of vegetation which is marked in green. Now somebody asked me that day, sir, is it necessary to memorize and by heart what type of forest which is there in different parts of India? No need. No need at all. The type of forest in India, in topo sheet, see it will vary, no? Type of forest what we have in Konkan or in northeastern states or in southern part or in Himachal Pradesh will vary. So the type of forest is always mentioned in the map, so you don't have to worry. As I stated earlier, contour lines are drawn in brown in color. Cultivable area, we'll see the examples later. Cultivable area is yellow in color, and blue color is used for all the water bodies and perennial streams. Blue, if you find blue, it means, it indicates that that water body is having water throughout the year. So let's go ahead. I hope I am not very fast. Second aspect is conventional signs and symbols. Now whatever you will find a marginal information along the map, like besides I don't have a full map which is not permitted for reproduction, but this extract I have taken from the topographical map. So what are the information which is given? First of all, you will get scale 1:50,000, that is RF. Graphical scale is drawn, and then it is written height and contours all in meters. Contours interval is 20 meters. Now these are the standardized format of the conventional signs and symbols which are there and derived by Survey of India. For example, PO, post office, TO, telegraph office, PTO, post and telegraph office. This I am going to share with you, there is no problem. Even in case your notes, what I will be giving for topographical map, I will share this, so you don't have to worry. So I will give you a simple exercise later on to draw any 10 conventional signs and symbols. I'll give you a list also. For example, draw conventional signs and symbol for temple, draw for town and villages, draw for fort. So you have to draw this symbol where space is given. So you don't have to worry just now at all. So there is no need to by heart these symbols at this junction. But as we move ahead, I will share with you the nature of questions, how it will be asked when we complete the syllabus, not at the moment. So this is Government of India copyright when it is produced, and it's a first edition. So previous edition was 1951. So it means it is very old. So it is 47D by 7, which is gridded. Means yesterday we discussed about, last lecture I discussed about 4-degree coordinate system. That's why it is gridded, means it is arbitrary grids which are given. Reading and interpretation of topographical maps. The marginal information of the topo map, name and state of the district is mentioned. Year of survey, map number and magnetic north and its deviation is also noted. In the lower part, year of publication, as I told you, scale, administrative divisions and adjoining sheets are mentioned. You know, when we say I want, sir, the sheet which is right to 47A by 16, how I will know? Am I supposed to go to again the catalog which is available? No. In each map, an index will be given to all adjoining sheets, keeping that topographical map in the center. So don't have to worry about. And then conventional signs and symbols. Now, following the aspect, it can be considered as map reading. Careful observation and study of contour is desirable as they depict different physical features. Second, study of major rivers and its tributaries can be studied with the help of Survey of India map, and it helps in identifying the stages of river and their type, that whether the river is in mature stage, early stage or in middle stage, and the erosional and depositional landforms which are associated with these. Then different type of vegetation and its extent can also and be studied. Sometimes they are written reserve forest, protected forest, bamboo, dense vegetation with bamboo. They will mention the variety of vegetation also, that what type of vegetation it is. So I'll see whether I can get a map like this where the the type which is written. Then accurate information from different sources of natural and man-made irrigation can be obtained. Please keep in mind, my dear students, whatever information which is given by Survey of India topographical map is most authentic and accurate. There is no confusion, there is no errors. That's why this is one of the best means on which many people depends. Now, who are using the topographical maps? We'll see later. Now, various modes of transport like roads, railway, airport, power line, telephone lines are mentioned. Variety of settlements in cities and towns and their extent and association with physical and cultural features can be examined. For example, if you have river valley where you have small settlements, it keep on growing over years. For example, Mumbai. Mumbai was the old city of only with 7 islands, where you will find Parel, then Kulaba. They are the major islands, and then you have rehabilitation and new areas have filled up, and then it's an extension of Mumbai now up to not Virar. Earlier it was up to Dahisar, then it has extended up to Virar. The people who are commuting, now people are coming from Palghar also. So city keep on expanding. That you will be able to see with the combination of the topographical map becomes a base. So this map I just stated earlier, it is printed in 1951. Now if you superimpose today's satellite imagery with the scale, you will be able to identify all the changes either in transport, either in residential areas, either in settlements, or either in the change in the landforms. Everything will be possible for us, because this becomes a very important aspect. It gives an authentic source, and this we call as change detection over a period of time, but that you did not have to worry about. Now let us see some of the examples. This a part of that I have shown, that I was talking about river islands, but see how it is, whether it is possible. See this area which is not wooded, other rest of the area is wooded. It is written fairly dense jungle. You don't have to worry about. If I ask you question that which are the types of forest what you have, fairly dense jungle, dense mixed jungle, we have to just write, we will get the marks. Then rivers. See, the bed of the river is very wide, but the stream of the river is very narrow, but it is blue. It means it is perennial throughout the year. It indicates that this is the semi-arid and dry area. Yellow, this agricultural land. Then these small trees which are given. Now they are the variety of tree which varies from place to place. Again, these are sand dunes. See though, these are the dunes which are permanent dunes and which are shown brown in color. So interpretation of this topographical map becomes much more easier once you are able to read. See the difference. This is right open scrub and it is right fairly dense forest. Open scrub is there on almost a barren land. You must have seen in your native towns, or we are going traveling to open scrubs which itself indicate the aridity or the area which is not having proper irrigation facility. Second aspect, same part of the another map is, see, dry tanks. You know, these are dry tanks. This is agriculture. Again, it is open scrub with a barren land. Now, different type of modes of transportation which are available. This is one, the roads which are connecting to each other. See here, these are the roads which are connected to each other. Sometimes it is written motorable only in dry season. See the difference between the roads between this map. See, it is written motorable in dry season. It means in the monsoon, the river, there is a flood water which occupies this part, and that's why it is not possible to travel. Now see the type of road. This is one road which is not a major road, but this is a road which is connecting to these two settlements. See the size of the settlement. This settlement is much more bigger than this type of settlement, and you have small hamlets. See here, this is a small hamlet. This is a smaller settlement than these two. So this is a way we identify and interpret the topographical maps. This is another one which we are discussing about. It's a foothill of Abu. Now see the difference between the landforms. Here it is totally covered with the hilly area with a very fantastic jungle. Then you have Abu as a town. See the extent of the Abu town. It's up to here, and the roads which are very narrow because it's a hilly region as compared to this area. See, it's a very flat land, so you get a variety of roads and you get telephone line. Somewhere here it is also a pipeline which is supplying water to the Abu. Again you have barren lands which also indicates the semi-aridity of the area. I was talking about steep slopes. See, these are the steep slopes, and this is the grade which are having gentler slopes. But none of these areas, streams which are blue in color, it means they are seasonal in nature. And see the contours, it is easy for us to identify. If I ask you which grid is having steeper slopes, this is one grid, this is another grid, okay, this is another grid, and which steeps are having gentler slope, this is one grid, this is another grid. So the more you see topographical maps, you are more familiar with.